Okay, this is lesson 4.1. We're going to be talking about solving absolute value equations. The toughest thing about this is you guys need to understand you're going to get two answers. Because with absolute value, you have two answers. See, the absolute value, that's ugly. The absolute value of negative 4 equals 4. But when you have the absolute value of x equals 4, well, can the absolute value of 4 be 4? Is the absolute value of 4 4? The absolute value of 4 is not 4? Oh my gosh, we're in trouble. What's the absolute value of 4 equal? 4, yes, it's 4. Oh boy, we're in trouble. And the absolute value of negative 4 is also 4, isn't it? So right in here, x could be 4, because that equals 4, and x could be negative 4, because that is 4. Don't write this. We'll get there. Okay, so we got a long way to go. It's all right. I'm here all week. Here, let's go back to here. Let's solve this inequality. First thing I'm going to do is distribute the 2. So I get 12 minus 3x is less than or equal to 6 minus 2x. So now, I have to get all the x's on one side, all the numbers on the other. Doesn't matter what I do. I tell you, please move the smallest number with a letter first. Negative 3 is smaller than negative 2. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Let's keep our line here. So this cancels, leave me 0. So I get 12 over here is less than or equal to 6. Negative 2 plus 3 is plus 1x. Now, I'm going to subtract 6 to both sides. This cancels. 12 minus 6 is 6, is less than or equal to 1x. Am I done? Yes, I am. Why? Because 1 and x are the same thing. So that's it. That's your answer. I can divide by 1 both sides, but it's not going to change anything. That's it. So now let's go to number 2. What's the first thing I get rid of, kids? The loner, not the 8. The 8 is all by itself. You don't have to move it. I've got to get rid of the negative 1. That's the loner. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I get 1/2 x is less than 9. Now, to get rid of the fraction, how do I do it? Multiply both sides by the bottom number. Am I multiplying by a positive or negative number? Positive. So I do not flip the inequality. The 2's cancel, leaving me 1x is less than 18. Okay, just had a little problem, but it's fixed. We're back. All right. So last one. First thing we do is add the 5. Get rid of the loner. We add 5 to both sides. We don't touch the 3 because it's all by itself. Can you? Yes. Do you? No. These cancel, leaving me 2x is less than or equal to 8. I'm now going to divide both sides by 2. X is less than or equal to 4. Here's the only thing you need to understand, and we didn't do this because of my secret rule. Move the smallest number with a letter. That means you'll always have a positive number next to your x. If you multiply or divide by a negative, what do you have to do? Flip the inequality. All right. Here we go. Here we go. We got some writing. All right. Okay, those of you watching this, I'm going to go ahead and pause it so everybody else can catch up. You can pause. Like if you need to write this, you pause it and then hit play, and then you write the rest of it. I'm now going to pause it, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here we go. We're going to follow the steps that they gave us to follow. So we want to solve the absolute value of x equals 16. So how do we have to do this? What was the first step? Okay, the absolute value is alone. Very good. What's the second step? Yep. The absolute value is alone, so we're good there. So now we have to write this. I'm actually not going to make an equal sign or a line of my equal sign right now. I have to rewrite this, so I have to say x equals 16 and x equals what? Negative 16. And then we're done. Oh, no. I screwed up, didn't I? This is not an absolute value. Why would they do that? Oh, no, sorry. I screwed up, didn't I? That's how you solve it. I looked over here at the absolute values. I got all confused. So x equals 16 and x equals negative 16. Is that what it equals? Because, see, what it is if I put 16 in here, does 16 equal 16? Yes. Does negative 16 equal 16? Yes, because this is the distance from 0. How far is negative 16 from 0? It's 16 numbers. How far is positive 16 from 0? It's 16 numbers. It's distance. That's why in distance you don't say negative. For example, how many of you live north by Burger King? Anybody live north by Burger King? Let's say you live 1 mile north. You don't go, I live positive 1 mile from Independence High School. How many of you live down towards the farm and what is that, CVS? Anybody live towards CVS in here? Does anybody say, I live negative 1 mile from Independence because you live south? No. Distance is always absolute value. Doesn't matter if you're traveling 300 miles towards California or 300 miles towards Texas. It's always 300 miles. Yes, let's take care of that. Okay, so now over here we have an absolute value. We're going to do the same thing? Yes. Look. We are going to say x is less than 9. X, we're going to say negative 9. Anybody remember what we have to do when we say negative 9? You have to flip the inequality. X is greater than negative 9. So when you do 9 and negative 9, you have to flip the inequality. So see, this means x is less than 9. Give me a number less than 9. 8. Negative 1,200,365. That would work here. Okay? Now, x is greater than negative 9. Give me a number bigger than negative 9. Negative 8. Does that make this true? Is negative 8 less than 9? Yes. Okay. So now, is there anything outside of my absolute values? No. So I have x minus 1 equals 2. And what's the next thing I need to do? X minus 1 equals negative 2. And then I solve both of them. X equals 3. X equals negative 1, because I'm adding 1. I'm not going to be writing the steps anymore, kids. You've got to know these steps. Okay, I'm going to skip number 4. I'm going to move on to number 8. Now, here's what you guys do that is wrong. You're going to take 4x plus 6 and set it equal to 22 and negative 22. I can't do that, can I? What do I have to do? I have to get rid of the loner first. I have to get rid of the 6 first. So I'm going to subtract 6 to both sides. So I'm going to get the absolute value of 4x equals What's 22 minus 6? 16. So now I take it out of the absolute value box. So now I say 4x equals 16 and 4x equals negative 16. So x equals 4 and x equals negative 4. Now I'm going to warn you right now. You guys do this on the test. You say, oh, I just got a shortcut. I'll just solve one and say the other one's negative. It doesn't work on all of them. It only works when there's a number with your x. Something like this, y plus 4, it doesn't work. Now let's jump back to number 7. Again, what's the first thing I have to do? Have to add 10 to both sides. Have to get rid of the loner. Plus 10, plus 10. The absolute value of y plus 4 is greater than 17. So now, y plus 4 is greater than 17, and y plus 4 is less than negative 17. That's the hardest thing. You got to remember that when you set it equal to the negative, you got to flip the inequality. So y is less than, what number goes here? 13, because I subtracted 4. You guys got to start knowing these steps. Over here, y is less than, what is it? Negative 21. Very good. Who said that? Excellent job. A lot of you in here don't know how to solve for x. That's going to be a huge problem for you. Because you're going to do that in geometry. You're going to do it in algebra 2. So you might as well learn it now. Okay. How do I get rid of this 5? I have to get rid of the loner first. That 5 is my loner. How do I get rid of it? No, it is multiplication. How do I undo multiplication? Divide. See, this is 5 times the absolute value of x plus 3. So I divide both sides by 5. That becomes 1. I get the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 2. So now what do I do? A hush falls over the crowd. What's that? Nope, not yet. Nope. After I have the absolute value by itself, what do I have to do? X plus 3 equals what? 2. And x plus 3 equals negative 2. Now I can solve. X equals negative 1. X equals negative 5. Okay? Let's look at number 10. What do we have to do? First step on number 10. What's that? Move the loner. How do I move negative 3? Add 3. This cancels, giving me the absolute value of 3x is less than or equal to 30. So now I take the 3x out of the absolute value. You have a question? So I take the 3x out of the absolute value, okay? I know I need to do that twice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my inequality the same. It's going to be less than or equal to, what am I going to make it less than or equal to, kids? 30. If it faces the same way, it's the same number. Now, over here, I'm not going to keep it the same. What am I going to do? I'm going to flip it. And what am I going to make it greater than or equal to? Negative 30. So now, I divide by 3. X is less than or equal to 10. I divide by 3. X is greater than or equal to negative 10. Okay, number 11. Actually, I'm going to go down and do number 12. And then I think this is going to be the last one we're going to do on the recording. Nope, we're going to do one more. I don't like to do too many because I want you to start thinking. So I think this is the last one we're going to do on the recording. What's the first thing I do, kids? Subtract 1. I get rid of the loner first. Subtract 1. So this brings this whole thing down. 3 times the absolute value of x minus 3 is less than 9. I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so I don't have to flip that. Keep that in mind. Now what do I do, kids? Divide by 3. Now, let me tell you something. If that had been a negative 3, and I think that's coming up, yep, that's the next one. We're not going to go over that because I want to see if you can figure it out. If this was a negative 3, I would have to flip this inequality symbol. These 3's become 1, so I get the absolute value of x minus 3 is less than 3. I didn't flip it because I didn't divide by a negative. So now, what do I do, guys? What do I do? What do I do? I take the x minus 3 out, correct? Because it's all by itself, I take this out, and I put it here, and I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to put x minus 3. Which sign am I going to use? I'm going to use greater than, and what answer am I going to use? 3. Now, over here, I'm going to take the x minus 3 out. However, over here, which sign am I going to use? I'm going to flip it. Less than. Am I going to use this answer? No, I'm going to use negative 3. Then I solve. X is greater than 6. And I solve. X is less than what? 0, because I'm adding 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. There we go. All right, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to come in and ask. Otherwise, love ya. Bye-bye.